Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on October 18th, 2012. And basically to start off, I'll go ahead and say this was it was not a bad show. It was a pretty good show actually for following up and for the fallout from the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. I like them actually starting out with the Aces and Eights coming out, and of course Devon, the only one who's unmasked now because he's pretty much the only one that's been officially shown on TV or in any way, shape, or form. So I like that. I like the aspect of them starting out the show because they have full reign now. They can start doing whatever they want again within the show, which they could not do over the past month or so. The making of the Sting Devon match was a pretty good start in that aspect. Obviously, Devon's not the full leader. Somebody's going to be eventually eventually brought in as the full leader, probably a bigger name. It seems as if they're making Devon the Sergeant at Arms, and honestly, this is a good thing. I think this is a good thing here. I don't fully see Devon as being as maybe the leader of the group, but more or less this is probably one of his bigger angles as his own character, as his own individual versus being a part of a tag team all the time. So it's nice to see him starting his own, like his first own little major singles angle versus, even though he's with a group, it's still focused around Devon at this point in time. So that's nice to see. His match with Sting was okay. It was a bit slow at the main event, and obviously at the end of the show, they made the Aces and Eights attack, eventually leading into all the Impact TNA wrestlers coming out to fend them off, and basically that's how they ended the show. But I'll talk a little bit more into that a little bit later on. In-ring action-wise, for most of the show, it wasn't overly great, but it wasn't it was good for everything it was, but it wasn't overly great at that point in time. I'm not really liking how they're doing the Tara Jesse angle right now, with him being her boyfriend. I'm not sure if they're actually boyfriend and girlfriend in real life, or this is just their angle at this point in time. I'm assuming it's just an angle for what they're doing and putting him on the show. I honestly don't really like what I'm seeing there, at least for the start off. I'll give it a little bit more time and see whether or not the angle itself will grow into anything, or maybe I can grow into liking it. The AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, and Christopher Daniels match, extremely good match, a good triple threat match. I liked how at the end of the match, after Kurt Angle winning, I liked the little tension and friction between AJ Styles and Kurt Angle at that point in time. So that maybe that can lead into something else, maybe a heel turn for AJ, or a heel turn for Angle, or maybe just a competitive match type rivalry coming out of this somewhere in the future. And the one last point I wanted to get into was the way they played Bully Ray off in this entire show. They made him look like they really wanted him to, like he really wanted to fight Devon, and you saw this at the beginning of the show before they made the Sting Devon match. And you saw it also in the backstage segment where he storms into Hogan's office. He wants Hogan to replace Sting with him because he really wants to fight Devon. I like where they went with that, mostly because it puts a lot more emphasis on the eventual either feud that they're going to have with Devon and Bully Ray, or the eventual turning of Bully Ray as a heel again, as like a full-on heel, maybe him going into Aces and Eights at that point in time. So that was definitely a good way of solidifying and put a lot of emphasis that he's either really wanting to fight Devon for the purposes of having the feud, or he's looking like he really wants to fight Devon, eventually turning to go into Aces and Eights. So that was definitely something that I liked throughout the show. Actually, I do have one last little point. One last point going in before ending this review. Of course, you had the celebration for Jeff Hardy going for winning the World Heavyweight title at Bound for Glory. The promo and celebration itself, it was all right. It did what it was supposed to do. It, of course, emphasized that eventually Austin Aries is going to, get his rematch. He's going to have his rematch for that for the title, and you'll have another match between the two of them. The one thing I personally, I've never really liked this is having titles that are, specified to a certain character, their own look, their own type of deal, especially with a World Heavyweight title. As you saw, Jeff Hardy debuted a new heavyweight title, which it kind of resembles his look, his feel, and that's just something I've never really liked because it doesn't put a lot of it kind of almost devalues that title as like, oh, now it just looks like this or it looks like that. I guess for me personally, I've always liked a little bit of consistency in the way the titles look. You have one title, you have that design for like 5 to 7 years, and then you eventually change it at that point in time. But that's my own personal thought on that. And that's pretty much all I have for Impact Wrestling on this week. I do thank you guys for watching. I hope you do enjoy watching this.